Hello, everybody. Kent Hovind must be feeling a bit of pressure at the moment. Perhaps the donations are drying up as more and more people get to know the truth about him. So he does this thing on his channel about Exodus 2016. Thou shalt not bear false witness. I'm going to make some comments about this. So, thou shalt not lie, basically. Let's have a listen to what Kent says, and I'll make some comments as well.
Shore Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama, December the 5th, 2023. Tonight, Exodus chapter 20, verse 16. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Don't lie about other people. Okay? Bible's real clear. I'll show you in a minute here. Okay. Patrick Urish is going to be on the program. It was a Sunday night now we agreed on. Okay, it's about 7 o'clock Sunday night. Want to get any health problems, call Patrick. Say, look, what do I do for this? My grandmother's, big toe is longer than her thumb or something. And
yes, well, taking advice from Kent's health practitioners hasn't worked in the past very well, has it? Too. What was the name of your trustee, Bill Sadi, who took his own advice and is no longer with us? A little cautionary tale there.
He'll tell you what to do. Okay, let's see. Get us on Facebook. Now we're not going to be on on YouTube for Patrick stuff. Okay, Genesis Baptist Church is our channel on YouTube, and Kent Hovind Official on most of the rest of the stuff. And you can click those little buttons there, and it does something to somebody somewhere. I don't know what it does. Anyway, you can join our services. Come visit us live. And you folks been here for what, a week now, brother, from Ohio?
This will be, 3 days?
3 days. That's it. You already got that roof half done.
Almost.
Man, that was a worker. Praise God. Carpenter came, showed just in time, brother.
Okay.
We're live. Genesis Baptist Church, the old-fashioned, independent, temperamental, fundamental, right-wing, radical, chicken-eating, King James, Bible-believing Baptist Church. We think the Bible is inerrant, infallible, inspired. God preserved his word like he said he would. And we love science, and we love to teach others about how real science shows the Bible is true.
Love to teach people about science and love science. I mean, this man has no science qualifications whatsoever. How can he have possibly have taught it with zero science qualifications? Even his worthless degrees are not in science. Fact.
And evolution is dumb. God made everything in 6 days and told us so. We've got all kinds of videos, DVDs. Let's see, my seminar series, my Woe series, special messages on other topics, my introduction to biology, earth science, physical science.
Praise the Lord and send in the money to Kent. And you read his books on science when he really knows nothing about science. Well, we know he bought his degrees, which aren't in science. We know he bought them at diploma mills. It's a fact.
Algebra. If your kids are struggling in any of those, this is entry-level stuff that'll get them started. They're going to say, oh, I understand it now. Let's see. Basic algebra. Take away the mystery. Physical science.
Well, I wouldn't want my kids to remain at that low fourth grade level for the rest of their lives. I'm sorry. I'm not going to risk the education of any kids of mine with a charlatan like this.
Biology, earth and space science. And all that. Lots of stuff on our channel, drdino.com, or call 855-BIG-DINO, extension 1. Talk to my wife. She'll answer the phone. Okay. Studying God's 10 commandments. What if you break one? Well, what do you mean, what if? When we break one, then what happens, okay? Depends on your attitude toward it. He said, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness. We're going to talk tonight about that commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness. Hovind translation. Don't lie about other people. It's almost always done to try to make yourself look better than the other person, to raise your social status. In England, they call it the tall poppy syndrome. What? Poppies are flowers, and if one flower grows a little taller than the rest, all the rest of them want to cut that one down so they look taller. Rather than start growing to catch up, just cut that one down. And so a lot of people slander other people and bear false witness because they think it makes them look better.
Well, not necessarily, whilst that might be true. A lot of people want to keep an eye on people who make false claims, and I think they need to be called out when they don't tell the truth, when they lie, when they misrepresent science, when they are hypocrites. I think good people deserve to know about these things. Sorry if that offends you, Kent. Well, actually, I'm not sorry.
Okay? It started with Satan lying about God, first to himself, and then he lied to Eve. Okay? Son of man, Ezekiel 28, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord, because thine heart is lifted up, And thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man and not God, though thou set thy heart as the heart of God. See, Lucifer wanted God's job. Lucifer was created. He was one of the created beings, probably on day 1 or 2. We know he was in the Garden of Eden before the Garden of Eden was messed up. He was a good guy, I think maybe for 100 years. And Hovind theory, he got jealous of these people worshiping God and said they really ought to worship him.
Well, this is interesting, isn't it? This is the same claptrap that Kent comes up with about different people. I mean, think how many people, how many wives have supposedly wanted to take over his ministry. Not that, of course, that it is his ministry, because if he owns the ministry, the IRS is probably going to have a few things to say about that. So he can't decide what he wants. And of course, he is paranoid about anybody who he falls out with or doesn't like anymore. Suddenly, he makes that climb. They were trying to take over the ministry. Take that with a grain of salt.
He was smart and strong and all beautiful and all that stuff. You can read the story in Ezekiel 28 and Isaiah 14. The serpent said to the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for God doth know, in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods. He's lying to Eve because he's the one who wants to be God. Jesus said, You're of your father the devil, and the lust of your father he will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there's no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he's a liar and the father of it. Satan, the father of lies. See, God made a perfect universe. Satan wanted it. A lot of times when you build something really cool, somebody says, I'll be glad to take it, okay? When you earn a lot of money, people say, I'll be glad to come steal it, right? That's the attitude from Satan, okay? God made a perfect world. Satan wanted it. Those who can't make anything at all will lie about what you made to try to make themselves look good. Like, oh, that's a lousy creation. What's wrong? Why did you do that? You know, some of the atheists have whole channels trying to make fun of things God made and say, well, that would be dumb for God to make it that way. Because they don't know enough about anatomy and biology to understand the importance of why it is that way.
As if this man does? As if this man, with no science qualifications whatsoever, who claims to have taught math and science, unqualified, knows more about that than real scientists? You'd have to be delusional to believe this nonsense. You know, listen to a real doctor, Francis Collins. He's a Christian and a gentleman, totally the opposite to Hovind, and a brilliant scientist at that. He doesn't shoot rubber bands or make paper airplanes. No, he just maps the human genome. You know, that sort of forefront of research. But why would people listen to Kent Hovind? God.
Okay. Satan's followers also bear false witness. You're of your father, the devil. There's no truth in him. He's a liar and the father of it. Jesus said, because I tell you the truth, you believe me not. Which of you convinceth me of sin? If I say the truth, why do you not believe me? Jesus was God in the flesh, didn't make any mistakes, perfect. And they slandered him. They bore false witness about him, didn't they? Exodus 20.
It doesn't mean they're slandering and bearing false witness about you, Kent. We'll come to that.
Thou shalt not bear false witness. Exodus 23. Don't raise a false report. Deuteronomy 5, giving the law again. Neither shalt thou bear false witness against thy neighbor. And Deuteronomy gives the law. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity or for any sin, if any sin that he sinneth. In the mouth of two witnesses, or at the mouth of 3 witnesses, shall the matter be established. See, one person can lie, but it'd be difficult for 2 people to lie exactly the same way. Judges and lawyers know this. If there's 2 or 3 witnesses, they'll cross-examine them and try to find contradictions in their story. Say, aha, see, one of them's lying, right? That's why God said 2 or 3 witnesses must testify against somebody.
Yes, I wonder how many testified against him in his tax and structuring trial. Obviously enough for him to be convicted rightly, that's for sure.
False witness rise up against any man to testify that which is wrong, then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before the Lord, and the judges shall make diligent inquisition. And behold, if the witnesses be a false witness, and hath testified falsely against his brother, then shall you do to him as he had thought to do to his brother. So shalt thou put away evil from among you. So if somebody lies about his neighbor to try to be able to, his cow came over and, tore up my fence, and he's lying about it because he wants to get the cow. or he wants money out of the neighbor. Then the judge looks at this and says, you're lying. You thought to get money out of him. You got to pay him that much money. Whatever you were trying to get out of him, that's what you got to give him, okay? A false witness that speaketh lies, God hates this. 6 things, Proverbs 6. A false witness shall not be unpunished. False witness shall not be unpunished. A false witness shall perish. All through the Bible, God hates this false witness thing. Lying about somebody else. Why? God takes it serious, okay? There was a man in the land of Uz, who nobody that I know knows where that is, whose name was Job. That man was perfect and upright, and he God and eschewed, that means he hated evil. Old English word, eschewed, okay? And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. And his substance was 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 she-asses, and a very great household. So that this man was the greatest of all the men of the East. Okay, now what did God say about this guy? There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. That man was perfect and upright, and he feared God and hated evil. I'd say he's a pretty good guy. According to God's testimony, God said he was a good guy.
Yeah, well, of course, Hovind compares himself to Job and has done so in other videos before. So you can see where this is going.
And he had lots of sons and daughters and a whole bunch of sheep and cows, etc. So Job was this wonderful man, great guy. Before the flood came, the people lived to be 900. If you read the book of Job,
Just absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. No proof of that whatsoever.
Job had 10 grown children. All of them died in this problem you see in the book of Job. Then he had 10 more children and saw his great-grandchildren from his second generation of children, second batch. So I think he had to probably live, during this time when people were living to be, 400. It's just my guess. You got to live a long time to have 10 kids, all grown, all die, and 10 more kids, all grown, and see your great-grandkids from that batch. And then he lived 140 years and saw sons and his sons' sons, 4 generations. So just my guess, the book of Job probably takes place before Moses gave the law, but right here, sometime when they're living to be a couple hundred years old. And a messenger came and said, Job, your oxen were plowing, the asses were beside them, and the Sabians came and stole them all. And they killed all your servants. And I'm the only one alone escaped to tell you. And the fire of God fell from heaven and burned up the sheep and the servants. And I'm the only one left alive. They carried them away. They carried your camels away. And your sons and daughters were eating and drinking in their eldest brother's house. And a great wind from the wilderness came, and your house fell down, and they're all dead. Job's having a bad day, okay? He lost all of his wealth and all of his family in one day. Then Job arose, rent his mantle, and shaved his head, and fell down upon the ground and worshipped, and said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. That's amazing when you can have that attitude when you lose everything. Okay, I love you, Lord. Thank you. Thank you for letting me have it for a while. Then went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord and smote Job with boils from the sole of his foot to the crown. A boil is like the world's worst zit. Job is covered in them. So his wife turned against him. Dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die. What's the matter with you, Job? Why don't you curse God? Let him kill you. Now, the Bible says the wife should reverence her husband. Job's wife, apparently she lost her 10 kids too, And he said to her, thou speakest like one of the foolish women. Shall we receive good at the hand of God and not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips. Job's a really good Christian. Well, good servant of God before they were Christians. Job's 4 friends came to him and saw their chance to make themselves look good by making Job look bad. It mentions 3 of the guys most of the time. It says he had 3 friends. Later we find out there was a 4th one. Job's 3 friends came. One of them was Bildad the Shuhite, one of the shortest guys in the Bible. That's pretty small, okay, Shuhite. God had said Job was a perfect man. These friends wanted that status of being perfect without deserving it. So they simply bore false witness against Job. Let's see, what did Eliphaz say? It says they came to comfort him. Right, okay? I don't think so. Eliphaz the Temanite said, remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent. What's a hidden message behind that? Job, you must have sinned. You had to do something wrong, Job. You had to sin or God wouldn't do this to you. And if something bad happens to you, sure enough, one of your friends will come up and be glad to tell you, you must have sinned. You did this wrong or that wrong or something wrong. Here we know Job did nothing wrong. Bad things still happen.
Well, Kent's pretty fond of saying that if you do things wrong, God will take you home earlier than anticipated. So, so he's himself has said in the past that, somebody suddenly gets taken down and dies young, that God, it's a way of God punishing him in a way, although it's a funny sort of a punishment to be taken to a place that's supposedly heaven.
And his friends couldn't understand that, so they bore false witness about him. Job, you must have sinned. Then answered Zophar, one of the other guys. He said, should not the multitude of words be answered, and should a man full of talk be justified? In other words, Job, you're just talking. You deserve what you got. You should not be justified. Should thy lies make men hold their peace? Accusing Job of lying. For Job had said, my doctrine is pure, and I'm clean in thine eyes. Job had said, as best I know my heart, I am right with God. And he was. His friends didn't like that. Here's a man can go through trial and tribulation and keep serving God anyway when you lose it all. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? There's none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man. He fears God and hates evil, eschews evil, and still he holdeth fast his integrity. Hey, Satan, what do you think about Job? He's still holding his integrity because he's a good man. Then said his wife, dost thou retain thine integrity? Curse God and die. Job 27. God forbid that I should justify you. Till I die, I will not remove mine integrity from me. It's been 27 chapters of his friends arguing back and forth about Job, you must have done something wrong. And Job answered, I'm not going to take away my integrity. I know my heart's right with God. And you can have those times when people are accusing you and falsely accusing you and slandering you, and you're right. And they get mad at you for thinking you're right.
Well, Kent is always right. 4 marriages, 3 either divorce or annulments, and in each of those 3 cases, he was never wrong. He constantly tells people that. So don't play the innocent here, Kent.
Well, you're holier than me, huh? Okay. He said, let me be weighed in an even balance that God may know mine integrity. Well, the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind. If a tornado starts talking to you, I suggest you pay attention, okay? And said, who is this that darkeneth counsel by words without knowledge? Hovind translation. Job, your 4 friends were bearing false witness against you. Ignore their counsel. Just keep trying to please me. God had said Job was a perfect man, but his enemies still slandered him, gossiped about him, and bore false witness against him. Enemies, nothing. Those were his friends. I bet the word got around that the richest man in the country, maybe even the richest man in the world, and they probably in the gossip newspapers all over the place. Did you hear Job lost everything? I wonder what he did wrong. I bet he was on, CNN, the Communist News Network, and ABC, all about crud, or whatever that stands for. Okay, let's see. When the people delayed to come down from the mount, and Moses delayed, the people gathered themselves together to Aaron and said, get up, and as for this Moses, the man that brought us out of Egypt, we wot not what has become of him. Here Moses was the God-called leader. He's up on the mountain talking to God, getting the 10 commandments, and the people down there are slandering him. He abandoned us. We don't know what happened to him. He left us. Okay. So Aaron said, break off the earrings, and he made a golden calf. What a dumb thing to do. Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman he married.
Well, also here we go. Yeah, because of the woman he married. Well, Kent's married a few, and he's trying to indicate that people speak against him because of that. Look, people only speak, or from my point of view, speak against Hovind by speaking the truth, and that's a concept follow that is foreign to him. We'll stop this now and resume with a second part, an enlightening further look at the world of Kent Hovind. Thank you.